Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Price List Update Summary video series brought to you by Actionable Insights. You've got Harrison here, you've got Whatley there, you've got Stone there, and we're here to talk about the new Xactimate line items that were added to the price list in September 2023, plus all of the changes to existing line items. Gentlemen, there are 13 new line items to talk about today, and I'm pretty excited. Don't forget that
You're always excited.
I am excited. Don't forget, whatever platform you're on, to stop for a moment and hit that subscribe button, that like button, that follow button, that share button, anything that helps spread the word about, hey, what new line items came out and how are we supposed to use them as contractors and adjusters in this industry. All right, without further ado, let's jump into it. New line items. I'm going to bring up X1 here, and we have 13 new line items to discuss. The first four are in the drywall category. We have drywall, quarter-inch drywall. Now, this is new. We've had half-inch drywall. Yep. We've had other versions of drywall, but this quarter-inch drywall is new. Now, Whatley and Derek, before we started recording, we were talking a lot about quarter-inch drywall. Why did this line item need to exist? How is this material or activity used in the field, performed in the field? Why is it necessary?
Absolutely. This is for contractors. This is for remodeling. If you've got a space that you need to freshen up and you don't want to go all the way down to the studs, or that's cost prohibitive, or you have other issues, cap it, finish it out, make it look great, quick, easy. That's why it's there.
Yeah. I can recall using it on large loss fires here in San Diego, Stone, where we had plaster in play, and that plaster often was asbestos containing, and it would have created a whole abatement nightmare. Yep. And so what we would work through with the adjuster is just working through this quarter-inch drywall. Previously, we'd just use 1/2-inch drywall because the cost was so similar. Oddly enough, even though the 1/4 is, only half of the material of 1/2, it's actually a little bit more expensive. Mm-hmm. And that's represented here in the price list. But I think it provides space for us to as restorers, smooth out unaffected areas, right, in a cost-effective way. So a decent addition to the price list, but we were getting by with 1/2, all right.
Yes, but quarter-inch, more options. You know me. I like having more options and more accuracy. But more importantly, if you are using the Actionable Profile to write estimates right now, using our live estimating guidance that reacts to your scope while you write it, we already have new rules on the way that will be addressing these quarter-inch and making sure that you are including it where you're supposed to be and reminding you of where you're potentially double dipping, because these are new line items. And when new line items come out, if you're using the Actionable Profile, we'll make sure you know about them and are using them correctly. All right, let's jump down to this next section. There are 2 ELE electrical line items around rewiring. Now, you might say, hey, Harrison, we've had rewiring line items, and you're correct. These ones are specific to metal-clad wiring. And when we went to the top here and we looked up rewire, just to check, hey, we've had these existing rewire line items, ELE rewire. What does it kind of look like now with the metal-clad wiring? You can see in the San Diego price list here, pretty big price difference. $476 for the normal rewire, and we have $687 per square foot in the metal-clad rewiring. Wally, this is a pretty significant cost structure difference. Do you feel like this was a warranted addition, or this will help people round out the cost of those performing metal-clad wiring activities in the field?
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference in cost structure between just running Romex.
Right.
And the application can be more broad with this metal clad. I've seen it installed indoors, outdoors, and even underground in some cases. And it's really flexible and it's durable. And it's a good choice for service and feeders and even branch circuits. Correct. So I think its most common application bends towards commercial. So a rule might be, Stone, that you work in is if the Actionable Profile identifies that it's a commercial loss and somebody uses the rewire line item, it might be more warranted. Because if you think about a drop ceiling, Stone, what do you think? You don't think about Romex,
right, exactly,
floating up there. It's metal clad, right? And so the commercial application becomes very common. In a residential environment, guys, I don't see that often for a newer build, but your post-war homes here in San Diego, it was very common.
Okay.
So those policies need to respond to what the building material was, right?
True.
Same way where the carrier's over plaster, it might be warranted. But if I'm an adjuster and somebody's including that on a residential loss for a home that was built, after 2002, I start to wonder why. So,
makes sense.
and things to keep an eye out for.
Good context to be aware of. Next 4 line items are in the siding category. These are flashing line items. We have L flashing, both galvanized and colored finished, as well as step flashing and step flashing copper. So, Derek, we were talking about this beforehand. You were talking about flashing. Why is flashing important in the siding category? Why is this important that we have this?
It does many things. Primary use is diverting water away from the inside of a structure. There were a couple of holes in flashing in the line items, and this fills that gap. We're keeping water out from behind substrate building materials, especially if you have 2 separate types meeting up to each other. You're keeping that water shedding appropriately away from the building.
Wonderful. And now we have 4 new line items in the siding category to help address it, depending on your finish and or material. Lastly, the last 3 new line items this month are around medicine cabinets. There are 2 WTR medicine cabinet line items around detaching, just the detach activity. And there's 1 cabinetry CAB line item for actually resetting the medicine cabinet. Whatley, over the last 5 years, I feel like we've seen a lot of these reset-only activity line items and detach-only activity line items in an attempt to really address, there are different phases of a claim, and often you have different service providers providing just the mitigation or just the repair. And so these line items exist to help identify the cost structure of that particular activity, that particular risk of performing that activity. What are your thoughts on these?
To be more direct,
yeah.
Here's my thought. It's because of program work. For whatever reason, and I don't think this is a great practice, but in program work, adjusters want to see, and this isn't really even a staff adjuster, this is like TPA representatives, they want to see like all WTR line items. Like, how dare you use anything out of WTR if you're doing water mitt? And then in the inverse, if you're doing repair, if you use WTR line items for, say, like PPEs, for example, that is also problematic. And so the price list is just doing their best to like smooth out program-centric claim settlement, in my opinion, with the adoption of these line items.
Makes sense. All right, there's the 13 new line items that are added to the price list in September 2023. Wow, it's a good year already. Let's start checking out the changes here. Checking out the changes. All right, I'm going to pull over September to the right side. I have another estimate with August, then the August price list, so we can take a look at, hey, on the left side, what do these line items look like last month? And now what do they look like here? Let's talk through these changes. Now, the big one, gentlemen, there are 7 line items listed here at the top in the PLM category around toilets and water closets. And Whatley, since the day I met you, I have learned so much about line items and what is in a line item, what's not in a line item, and what I should be charging for on top of that. And one of the first things that you helped me understand is that up until August 2023, when you were charging to replace a toilet, there was no toilet seat in that toilet. And therefore, there was a separate line item, I believe TLTS, around charging for the toilet seat. However, and this is a big one because this pretty much affects anybody touching toilets and replacing toilets.
We touch a lot of toilets in this business.
It's a weird sentence to say out loud when you really listen to it, but
it's true.
I want to point out that there's been a major update to all of the toilet and water closet line items. You'll see the component listed inside here. The material component now says toilet including seat. And so the general summary here is toilet line items now include the toilet seats. So if you were to charge for a toilet seat alongside a toilet, that would now be overcharging, double charging, etc. The seat is now included in the toilet. So to clarify exactly what happened here, so people can see it for themselves, so I'm going to put these side by side. Oh, well, that's cool. Just hop over there for a second. All right. The main idea was, here's August. Toilet, standard grade, $184 for that component. On the right side, we have September. Toilet, including seat, standard grade, $198. So the component changed. The toilet seat is now in the toilet, and the price went up by $14 to account for that toilet seat. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on this change?
Well, that $14 on the low end, if you look down at commercial, say the water closet commercial grade,
sure.
accessible, it goes up by $116. So it depends on what toilet it is.
Good point.
But I think that users on both sides of the claim were systemically omitting toilets, with the exception of those using the actionable profile, because we had a great alert for that.
Correct.
But nod to the pricing department for giving us the information of this change coming down the pipe. Stone, you guys have already updated the rules such that it contemplates this change.
We have.
Yep.
Yeah. So now that alert isn't there anymore to remind the user that a toilet seat may be warranted. So anyhow, this just makes sense. And this is not, it was never wrong, gentlemen. It's just that how manufacturers package toilets has evolved over the years. And so now the toilet seat's just in the toilet, and that's just done universally, and the pricing department's reacting to that.
Very well said. So just good to be aware. Toilet seats are now in the toilet line item. All right. Moving on here, PLM WBOX. This is a washing machine outlet box line item with valves. And they've made some adjustments to the internals of this line item, of what actually it consists of. So I just want to clarify here. You may look like on the left side, there was a valve component as well as the washing machine outlet box component. These were two separate components. On the right side in September, you'll notice there's only one washing machine outlet box with valves. So these have essentially been combined into one single component. Whatley, you were saying this is how this is typically sold now, these washing machine outlet box with valves. So this makes sense to update this line item in this way?
Yeah, it's similarly evolved. It used to be a separate component, but now when you buy that plastic assembly, between your two cartridges, your hot and cold, is a center drain assembly. And so in recognition of the building material just evolving over time, again, the price list responds.
Okay. Lastly, we have CPS BRAP. For all of our contents people out there, there's just been a slight update to the actual component to clarify the length of it. So it previously just said 24-inch wide here, but you'll see it now says 24-inch wide by 250-foot roll. So just to clarify, depending on the material, hey, is this the material that fits this line item? A little bit more clear there in the details of additional item information. All right.
Do note that the price list, it did go up by 20% there.
True. For us, it's 17 cents a square foot in August to 20 cents a square foot, and that does make a significant difference for that line item. Okay, that's our major yield and component changes that affect the pricing of line items. Let's jump to additional item information changes, things that are important to realize around, hey, what changed here? We have two line items here, LIT POR for a porcelain light fixture and LIT scone for your wall sconces. All right, we're going to take a look at porcelain light fixture here. They've just made a simple clarification, which keeps these light fixture line items consistent across all of Xactimate. You'll notice here in the left side in August, it didn't say exclude anything. And on the right side, it says exclude light bulb. Now, Whatley, you and I were talking earlier this week, actually, about how many light fixtures come with bulbs when you're purchasing them these days. But it's good, and it's a reminder, if this is your first price list update video watching with us, good rule of thumb is that the light fixture line items in Xactimate do not include light bulbs, and you will need to charge for them separately. So it's nice to see that consistency be updated here to ensure that, hey, LIT POR does not include a light bulb. We'll double check the sconce line item here just to confirm of, hey, does not include a light bulb, excludes light bulbs. So that's great to see that consistency so people aren't confused and have to figure out, while you and I talk about which flooring types have waste included in them already via supporting events, but it's not consistent, which can be confusing at times. Okay. Coming down here to the finish, we got 4 changes to 4 line items that are almost all informational in nature. First off, you'll see this deck planking cedar line item, FRM DKC, has been updated to be a 5/4 inch cedar here. The sprayed
5/4 cedar.
5/4 cedar. The sprayed polyurethane foam here, open cell, just now references density rating in the description here to talk about polyurethane. Let's see here. Approximate R value 0.05. There was a typo. Instead of 0, it was said 0.05 pounds, 0.5, and now it's 0.5. So little updates there to make sure that people aren't confused. Where the decimal goes can matter, especially on my check. Here we go here, and we'll put these two here. This is the brick veneer detach and reset line items. Basically, they've added the typical disclaimer around here that basically says, hey, the price to perform this activity. No, I will. Here, I'll pull up the item image to make it really clear what they said here.
Yeah, comment below if you're having great luck detaching and resetting brick veneer.
As you can see, it's much longer now, and there's essentially a lines around a contractor will have use, and the yield assumption addresses the average time. Basically saying, hey, if you need additional labor or if you need to update the price of this activity, go ahead.
Because you can't pay contractors enough to do that, but okay.
Exactly. Fair. And then lastly, these reglaze skylight line item here. They've updated the description to talk about what actual materials are in here. So it says gasket, caulking, just to clarify, hey, what is in this line item? What's not in this line item? Those are the extra kind of things that people are often trying to identify and charge for appropriately. But it's always nice when the pricing department clarifies, explicitly what is in a line item or what is not.
Stone, I think there might be a update warranted to our rules around skylights. I know
Absolutely.
that, well, my loose recollection is that it's calling for a gasket. And to the extent that that's now explicitly included, that may not be warranted. So
Okay.
Correct. We do have some
Makes
updates
sense.
in the pipeline for that.
All right, gentlemen, we've got one last section. Let's go forward to the future.
Forward to the future.
We're going to take a look at the updates. Xactimate always gives us a little update of, hey, here's what we believe will come in the future. These are the line items that we're working on that you may see in the coming months. All right, we've seen this one on here for a while, so this must be a fun section of line items to create. Items for lightweight, waterproof tile shower backer board. So we look forward to looking at those when they are released. Items for removing oversized or multi-member baseboard to the WTR category, in line with what you were saying, Whatley, of needing to have line items for mitigation providers and program work to stay within the category as much as possible.
Yep.
Looks like we've got some additional baseboard WTR line items coming, as well as items for garage door panels. We did it! There it is. The September 2023 price list update summary video series. There were 13 new line items added to the price list, changes to a bunch of line items that you are now aware of. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check us out at getinsights.org. That's our website where all of our training resources, our educational resources, our estimating resources, basically we're a big resource hub center for you. So come check it out and start writing better estimates with everything that we're building here. Thank you for following and supporting Actionable Insights. And in the meantime, good luck settling those claims out there.
Always keep learning and growing, guys.